rushed intro because this is the third time I've tried to film it, but people are talking and I can't close my door because, what is interior design? And here we are, 40 questions for Christians refusing to wave the gay flag. I'm not a Christian refusing to wave the gay flag, but here we are. I'm answering these questions anyway because it's the last of the 132 questions. Bam! Number 1. Do you accept that sexual orientation is not a choice? Absolutely. Neither is gender identity. Number 2. Do you accept that sexual orientation is highly resistant to attempts to change it? Yeah. Science says as much, as does my personal experiences. I've tried. Obviously, I failed. Number 3. How many meaningful relationships with lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender people do you have? What counts as meaningful? I think I know maybe 4 LGBT people face-to-face, talk to 2 regularly, and consider 1 to be one of my closest friends. But then there's the internet, where I'm friends with few people but talk to a ton, and the vast majority of them fit into the community in some capacity. Number 4. How many openly LGBT people would say you are one of their closest friends? I don't know. How can I know? Ask them, not me. But my guess would be 1. 5. How much time have you spent in one-on-one conversation with the LGBT Christians about their faith and sexuality? Does this include myself? If so, countless hours. Tens. Hundreds of them. In my bed over there. In the halls of school, wherever I've been talking to myself about this. If not nearly enough. 6. Do you accept that heterosexual marriage is not a realistic option for most gay people? Absolutely. Number 7. Do you accept that lifelong celibacy is the only valid option for most gay people if all same-sex relationships are sinful? Under the premise that all same-sex relationships are sinful, yes. But I reject that premise. So, Number 8. How many gay brothers and sisters in Christ have you walked with on the path of mandatory celibacy, and for how long? You are doing so well, person who wrote these questions. What about my non-binary siblings in Christ? What about me? I'm agender. I am neither a brother nor a sister of anyone in the faith. I am certainly family and their sibling, but not a brother or sister. Anyways, none, because I don't know any old enough to really be asking those questions and seeking those relationships. This is, of course, because I'm still a minor and my parents would not have these friends, and I go to a private Christian school where everyone actually is conservative and would not have those friends. And their parents would not have those friends. And it just happens to be my luck that there's nobody like that at my church. Don't know why. 9. What is your answer for gay Christians who struggle to live for years to live out a celibacy mandate, but were driven to suicidal despair in the process? I am sorry. I am so incredibly sorry. I'm sorry that the world is not ready for you, and I'm sorry that nobody showed you the love that you deserve. I'm so sorry that you could not find meaningful relationships, and I am so angry that people would have the audacity to deny you those relationships based on your gender and the gender of your ideal partner. I'm so sorry, and I'm so frustrated that the fact that I'm sorry will do nothing, and that there is nothing I can do to in any way make what was wrong right. I'm just sorry. Number 10. Has mandatory celibacy produced good fruit in the lives of most gay Christians you know? No. This is like people I've encountered on the internet. Nope. 11. How many same-sex couples who are married do you know? None, unfortunately. I wish I knew some. I really did. I really do. 12. Do you believe that same-sex couples' relationships can show the fruit of the Spirit? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, meekness, and self-control. Absolutely. Also, apparently meekness is not one of them. 13. Do you believe that it is possible to be a Christian and support same-sex marriage in the church? Obviously, because I'm a Christian and I'll do that. 14. Do you believe that it is possible to be a Christian and support slavery? My gut instinct is no. But here's the thing. Cultures change. We know slavery is wrong, so it's impossible today. People back in times when, slavery was legal in America knew it was wrong too, or at least they should have. But like I said, it's impossible today. It's really unfair to judge the past by the present's standards of morality. But also, I don't understand how you could come from a place of love and participate in such hatred of others. I can't. Not today. That's my final answer. 15. If not, do you believe that Martin Luther, John Calvin, and Jonathan Edwards were not actually Christians because they supported slavery? There's context. The Bible itself supports something like slavery, though it's actually really progressive and gentle for its time and a lot more like indentured servitude. But it all boils down to loving God. That's the basic gist of Christianity. If Martin Luther, John Calvin, and Jonathan Edwards all really loved Jesus, then they're Christians. They fucked up. But we all fuck up. That's kind of the point. Do you think supporting same-sex marriage is a more serious problem than supporting slavery? No! Supporting slavery is an awful thing. One of the worst things to support out there. It's the literal dehumanization of people. Did you spend any time studying the Bible's passages about slavery before you felt comfortable believing that slavery is, in fact, wrong? No, because the God I know would not condone that, because he is all about love. That being said, after I came to that conclusion, I have gone and read these passages, not because I needed support, but because they're in the Bible. And lo and behold, that's where I find out that it's super progressive, and that this is God working, the God of love working through this culture that would not accept a total ban on slavery, and he is trying so hard. So, there's that. 18. Does it cause you any concern that Christians throughout most of church history would have disagreed with you? Yes, because I am concerned for all the people who were driven away from the church by that, and I am saddened by all the people who were hurt or killed by that belief. If you mean, am I concerned about my salvation because I disagree with most of church history? Not at all. 19. Did you know that for most of church history, Christians believed that the Bible taught the earth stood still at the center of the universe? I did know that, actually. That's something you learn at school. 20. Does it cause you any concern that you disagree with their interpretation of the Bible? Yes, because I am concerned for all the people who were driven away by that, and I am saddened by all the people who were hurt or killed by that belief and the enforcement thereof. If you mean, am I concerned about my salvation because I disagree with most of church history? Not at all. Did you spend any time studying the Bible's verses on that topic before you felt comfortable believing that the earth revolves around the sun? No. Did you know, or do you know of any Christian writers before the 20th century who acknowledged that gay people must be celibate for life due to the church's rejection of same-sex relationships? No. That being said, gay people is a kind of new concept because sexual orientation and gender identity are also new concepts relative to all of human history, at least according to those words in English. There are plenty of cultures that have had some sort of concept of that before, but in what we consider Western history. It's a really new concept. 23. If not, might it be fair to say that mandating celibacy for gay Christians is not a traditional position? Sure, I'd buy that. 24. Do you believe that the Bible explicitly teaches that all gay Christians must be single and celibate for life? I do not. 25. If not, do you feel comfortable affirming something that is not explicitly affirmed in the Bible? I do. If it demonstrates God's love and our love for others, absolutely. 26. Do you believe that the moral distinction between lust and love matters for LGBT people's romantic relationships, inasmuch as it matters for cis straight people's romantic relationships? Also non-intersex people's relationships. So probably not as much as it actually does. I probably don't believe it matters as much as it actually matters. Who knows? 27. Do you think that the loving same-sex relationships should be assessed? That's what that word is. Even with glasses, I can't read from that far away. Should be assessed in the same way as the same-sex behavior Paul explicitly describes as lustful in Romans 1. No. 28. Do you believe that Paul's use of the terms shameful and unnatural in Romans 1:26-27 means that all same-sex relationships are sinful? No. 29. Would you say the same about Paul's description of long hair in men as shameful and against nature in 1 Corinthians 11:14? Or would you say he was describing cultural norms of his time? It's obviously a cultural norm. Do you believe that the capacity for procreation is essential to marriage? Nah, mate. I do not. I want to get married. I mean, there's arguably the potential to procreate if I marry somebody who is, fertile. But it is not a potential as far as, that's concerned. No. I'm not having kids. If so, what does that mean for infertile heterosexual couples? Under that premise, they're being sexually impure. Good thing I reject that premise. 32. How much time have you spent engaging with the writings of LGBT-affirming Christians like Justin Lee, James Brownson, and Rachel Murr? Not enough, but enough to know my stance. And, I know Justin Lee. No, I don't know him, but, Gay Christian Network and Straight to Heaven, that musical, though, that I had on repeat for, an entire month. There's that. 33. What relationship recognition rights, short of marriage, do you support for same-sex couples? Marriage. Short of marriage, all 1,138 rights that marriage guarantees and grants. 34. What are you doing to advocate for those rights? I'm spreading awareness online. Unfortunately, I cannot do anything that my parents or my school might find out about, so I'm limited in what I can say. I do educate a lot of people at church, though, in the youth group. Over the summer, we went on this trip called Merge, and there's a lot of education that I went on. This question. 35. Do you know who Tyler Clementi, I think. I'm so sorry if that's not how you pronounce his last name. Tyler Clementi, Leela Alcorn, and Blake Brockington are. Yeah, Brockington are. And did your church offer any kind of prayer for them when their deaths made national news? I knew of Blake Brockington and heard a lot about Tyler Clementi. as for Leela, well, not only did I hear of her, but I heard from her. We messaged on Tumblr, like, about who knows what. We talked about having parents who were not accepting, and, like, clearly her parents were worse than mine, but it was still awesome to have somebody who could in some small way relate for her, and in, like, a totally bigger way than me relate to me. And we argued once about otherkin, and that's okay because she's a flawed person and all people are flawed. And I think we might have at one point crossed from acquaintances to friends, but then she had her whole internet ban, and so I didn't hear from her for a long time. And when she got back to the internet, she had people she needed to connect with that were higher up on her priority list, and I kind of just never got in touch with her again. Which I don't necessarily regret, because people come for certain times and places, but, and she had, like, bigger friends to deal with, and it's fine, but it's kind of weird, because sometimes I'm still, like, wondering if she's ever gonna message me again, and, like, no, she's not, she's dead. And how do you grieve this person who you're not allowed to know about because she's trans, and clearly you're not, and you can't talk about it with any of your teachers, you can't talk about why she died, because everybody even is gonna, like, condemn the fact that she committed suicide, but, like, jeez. And then on the internet you have, like, all of her close friends grieving, and then all of a sudden there's this national movement who has sort of co-opted her and made her into a saint, when you still remember, like, that she's not perfect, and you don't know where to fit in grieving. So, like, here I am for the first time talking about it out loud, except over a summer trip where I talked to one person about it, but, like, it's been over a year, and I don't know if I've even really grieved. I don't know, and I feel like I'm not entitled to this much grief, because, like, she had so many closer friends, and I feel like, at the same time, I'm not grieving enough, because I knew her, but, like, I don't know. And then there's the whole thing, like, even if she wasn't trans, and even if she hadn't killed herself, even if, like, she was Esther Earl, who died of cancer, and as far as anybody knows was cis, how do you let people know that you're grieving over someone you've never met face to face? Like, nobody who's an adult understands internet friendships. At least none of the adults I come in contact with. So, and then I can't talk to anybody because, you know, I couldn't find a place for my grief in the midst of all the chatter, and when things started becoming political, I had to back out. So, I don't know. So I suppose, yeah, I did know of her. My church made no mention of them that I am aware of, ever, at any point in time. 36. Do you know that LGBT youth whose families reject them are 8.4 times more likely to attempt suicide than LGBT youth whose families support them? I didn't know that was the statistic, but it doesn't surprise me at all, and I knew it was in that direction for sure. I just didn't know the exact number. 37. Have you vocally objected when church leaders and other Christians have compared same-sex relationships to things like bestiality, incest, and necrophilia? Fortunately, none of my pastors have done so. I cannot do so at home or school, but people at home don't really make those comparisons, and it's only really, like, 2 teachers at school. But on the van ride back from a church trip this past summer, our youth summer intern decided to compare pansexuality specifically to bestiality, and I shut him down faster than you can shut down a computer. In love, of course. but I shut him down. 38. How certain are you that God's will for all gay Christians is lifelong celibacy? 0%! Like, negative 100%. For some of them, maybe. For all, absolute shit. Nah. No way. 39. What do you think the result would be if we told all straight teenagers in the church that if they ever dated someone they liked, held someone's hand, kissed someone, or got married, they would be rebelling against God? I mean, some would do it to rebel. Others would be ashamed, and some would kill themselves. You know the answer is that it would look like what's happening to queer people, except less drastically, because they at least know there are more straight people they can talk to. Because, like, we don't know who is queer until we talk, and it's a very not safe thing. But there are just so many more straight people, straight cis people also, because, like, are you talking about trans straight people too? I don't know. I don't know. 40. Are you willing to be in fellowship with Christians who disagree with you on this topic? As long as they aren't actively trying to kill me? Sure. So that's that, the last of these 132 questions. And I'm not sorry that we're done with this, actually. And that question 35 was, I'd, like, written notes, and, like, even when writing notes it was weird, but I'd kind of forgotten just how, whatever, intense I guess that was. And now I've talked about it on camera. So that's cool, I guess. Was this video informative? Leave a like. Was it inflammatory? Leave a comment. Was it intriguing? Subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter or Tumblr using the hashtag AskAzaria, or the direct messaging system on Twitter, or the asks on Tumblr to be featured in my next Just Asking Monday video. And if you hit me up through, like, the messaging system on Tumblr, or in the comments, or, like, you tag me in something other than, like, AskAzaria, I'll respond as soon as I can. I hope this was an educational series. I hope you understand a little more where I come from. If you disagree with me, I hope I articulated thoughts well. Regardless, and I hope I didn't, like, desperately offend anybody, and if anybody in any way connected with Leela sees this, hello. She's great. We can talk about her or not, whatever. Yeah. You've still got days. I hope they're good.